Okay, so as you can see, I am in my library and I'm going to create a brand new Nearpod lesson to show you these Nearpod activities. Now I'm going to do this old school. There are two ways to make a lesson in Google Slides, which is going to blow your mind, brand new feature, or creating a lesson in Nearpod. And we're going to create a lesson in Nearpod, which is the old way of doing it, but I have my reasons for showing you this, which will become apparent later. I'm going to call this lesson activities, and I'm just going to add my very first activity that I want to show you. I click on add activity and I want to show you the open-ended question. Okay, so what this is it's you asking your students sort of like an essay question or a short answer question. And so you can ask your question here. So you have all of this typing space, and you also have access to those math symbols that are in beta, but I'm sure will stick around because they're awesome. So you have that. You also have the ability to add references. For example, you can add a reference image. So you can put an image there and you can say, click on the image to the left and ask your question about the image. You can have a reference video. Watch the video attached to this question and then tell me what you think about blah, blah, blah. You can add a PDF. You can add an audio clip. You can add web content. So you can literally have your students click on the reference and it'll take them out to a web page, and you can say something like, after looking at that web page, answer this question. Now, another thing that you can add is an audio recording. You can read your question here. You can read your question. Thank you. My dinner just arrived. You can read your question to your students. However, you might change your mind about using this feature when I show you something in this video really, really soon. And then the last thing I want to show you is the add a timer feature. In a live session, you might want to chip things along. So you might want to consider giving your students some, maybe 3 minutes to respond to the question. They do seem to move a little more quickly when you add a timer, although it's kind of not fair to your children that process a little more slowly. So that's where you would follow up with the student pace code and say, okay, we've been through it in class. If you need a chance to respond on your own, here's a student pace code, blah, 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 you get it. Okay, I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to show you what an open-ended question looks like as you give it out in a live session and what it looks like from a student view. Okay, and we're back. As you can see, I'm back to the whole teacher view and student view, and I have my African Forest Elephants NPP pulled up, and I have my student getting ready to join, Mr. Billy Idol. So here he is joining my session, and he's in. And I'm going to show you 2 open-ended questions and what those look like. So here we go. First one, I make sure I get the right one. Oh, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's this one. Yeah. Okay. Now on this one, it's not that one. No, it is not that one. Gosh, I keep messing this up. Let me try again. Open-ended question. Maybe it's this one. Yes. Okay. On this one, I put a timer on it. Now I only put a 15-second timer on it, but I wanted you to see what an open-ended question looked like when I put a timer on it. And as you can see, it warns the students that they're only going to have X amount of time and you have to wait for your teacher to start the activity. So I start it and the student gets a countdown. And so Billy Idol has to type in, according to the video, what were the 2 blah, 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 da, 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 and I have 8 seconds left and I submit my answer. And you can see on the teacher end that Billy Idol has submitted his answer and your students' names are going to pop up here. Okay. Now the timer has run out. Now you also have the ability to share specific students' answers, and they're going to show up on all the students' screens, but they're going to show up anonymously. Now, so you have the opportunity now to talk about these answers. Guess who wants my dinner? So you could say, what do you agree with the person who wrote this answer, or what do you disagree? So that's kind of a nice feature. Lastly, I want to show you one more open-ended question, and you're going to kind of freak out over this. Okay, so this one, I did not put a timer on it. Okay, so it looks a little different. I'm going to open up my student view here so that you can see this particular feature that I want to show you. All right, remember when we turned Immersive Reader on? This is just one of the things that Immersive Readers can do. So I'm a student and I have this essay question and I can't read it. Well, here's my Immersive Reader function. So I can turn that on, and I've already been messing around with this. Okay, so it's supposed to look like this. It comes on the screen like this. Okay, and it says,
What questions do you still have about the topic of today's lesson?
Now, I can change that to read it in a female voice.
What questions do you still have about the topic of today's lesson?
I can also speed it up or slow it down, which is hilarious. And yes, your kids are going to do this, but you're going to have to let them do it just to get over it.
What questions do you still have about the topic of today's lesson?
Okay.
What questions do you...
Okay, and I'm going to slow that down to the normal pace there. And I can also, in these little tools, I can say, show me all the nouns, and then all the nouns in the question are highlighted. That's got to be valuable to somebody, right? I mean, show me all the verbs. I can turn the labels off. Show me all the adjectives, the adverbs. I can change the text style. So if I can't, if I need it to be smaller or bigger, I can change the font. If I don't, Comic Sans, Park Lane people. Oh my gosh, my dad got his shoes. Awesome. Park Lane people, Comic Sans. This prints A's the way we want A's printed. They can even change the theme in with Immersive Reader. So this is just getting the question read to them using the new Nearpod feature called Immersive Reader. Okay, so that is an open-ended question. Yes, Immersive Reader is going to come up in other activities, and I'll show you those later. What a video.